I'll speak as it is because last 3 years I somehow there came very close to Shyama Vallaprabhu and we had many interactions. I was able to visit his land in Wayanad and he shared so many stories of his life. When he left the Brahmacharya ashram, he was in touch with us. Then eventually he had to give up his work as Madhavanand was explaining. And then some other, we had no contact with each other. Very rare. Once in a while he would come to meet Prem Nidhi Prabhu. And he would talk about, I'm learning acupressure, I'm learning acupuncture, I'm learning so many other alternative therapy. And then suddenly, 3 years back, when he started speaking, interacting, came here, hundreds of mails, messages, eventually called to come and see his place in Wayanad. So I've written something based upon those messages and letters. When Shyama Vallaprabhu, when he was staying here, he was known for being extremely avadut in regards to his. That time we didn't call him avadut, we called him as a rebel. We had so many meetings about not being disciplined in the ashram. So recently somebody sent this a quote, and that's what aptly represents Shyama Vallaprabhu. The line between genius and madness is notoriously thin. So my personal take on to this about his life was, his genius made him what he was, his Ayurveda, extremely talented, his cartoons, great guitar player, a singer, he was a footballer. I remember seeing him in the when he would come to Kunj Bihari temple in Pune, he would come with this Enfield bullet, very rare to have for the students. And he would drive very fast. That was his madness also. So I'm just speaking what I feel. I say that his genius made him what he was, but his madness what killed him. I remember asking him, how is that you came back to Ayurveda? Because when he came back from London, both he and his wife, after completing their hospice oncology, they had a job in our Reliance Hospital, very close to the temple. They were looking for a couple. But that is the time he decided, I will not pursue this, I will go and pursue Ayurveda. It is but natural that those who were very close to him, his family members, always had these shocks. We had shocks only for 5 years, but the family members had continuous shocks. Who in the world would want to do something which is not your field, and you already have a good job and close to the temple? That's what Shyama Vallaprabhu was. And because of this nature, he became what he was. When I asked him, how is that you went back to Ayurveda? He said, my grandfather, I don't know from mother's side or father's side, but from both the side they were coming from a Vaidya family. He said, one of the grandfather, when he was passing away, he looked at Shyama Vallaprabhu. We always called him Shyam Vallabh. We couldn't say Shyama Vallabh, as Mataji was mentioning. He said, my grandfather, he looked at me and he said, he will take this legacy of Ayurveda. But his parents wanted him to become an allopathic doctor, which he became. And I also noticed when he wanted to join, we were discussing so much. So many letters are there, very confidential talks. What should I do? Should I join? Should I not join? Should I work with people or should I not work with people? I told him, Shyama Vallabh, you are like an universe. You are an universe itself. Working with people is extremely difficult. Because he always worked alone. He discovered his journey on his own. Nobody told him to become an Ayurvedic doctor. When he left the ashram, none of the ashram inmate ever told him, "Arey, aapko abhi Ayurved ke jana chahiye." No, he find his path on his own. So therefore he was a universe. I said, look, if you have to work with group of people, it's not about GV, it's not about hospital, any group of people, I said, your strength is so great, but your weakness is also great. I said 4 things you should do. One is treat, one is diagnose, second is treat, third is study and discover, and fourth is teach. Based upon whatever he had shared about his life, he had this great desire to have a Gurukul and train, because he met one Siddha. He sent me the picture of that Siddha also. Somebody called him from nowhere when he was in Kerala, and he said, please go and meet this Siddha person. I have the picture also on the WhatsApp message what he had sent. And he said, you go to this mountain top, you will find this Siddha, he wants to give you something. He said, where are you calling from? He said, don't ask about it. You just go there. And he took a train, bus, reservation was unheard. Therefore, he would cause nightmares to his family members also. Suddenly, he went there, found that village, went to that mountain, he met that Siddha, he gave him the book. Some old manuscripts of Ashtanga Hridaya. He said, this will help you. And he told him one thing. Look, he said, my dear son, you will not make much money in your life, but you will become a great discoverer of many Ayurvedic principles. And he said, instantly you should accept a student and start teaching him. Then Shyama Vallabh Prabhu started thinking about 1, 2, 3 children, based upon his interaction. And this person, he didn't speak to him. He was just thinking. And that Siddha said, no, whichever child you are thinking about, they are not qualified. And about one child he said, I know whom you are thinking about. He said, call his mother, and he talked about certain particular feature of that child. I will not share that. When he said that, then Shyama Vallabh Prabhu immediately called from that place itself the family member. And the father and mother said, even we had not noticed this. And he gave him that book. So he had this great desire to accept student, which he was not able to do. It was unfulfilled. I remember another teacher of his, Krishna Kumarji. He always spoke to him about Krishna Kumarji and Shashi Kumarji and Matthew, who is his neighbor. He showed me that land also. He would talk about his teacher. He said, Krishna Kumarji, one of his teachers, he said, when you have 5 lakh rupees, you should budget yourself to 5 lakh rupees. When you have nothing, then you think unlimited. So that was Shyama Vallabh Prabhu. He had nothing in his pocket. He was basically, genius people, like in the Shastra that is explained, there are certain nakshatras, they are extremely great to everybody else except their own family members. That is their chart. So we can understand how we can sympathize with the people who were very close to him. It was not intentional, but that is what the chart says. And then one day I said, Shyama Vallabh Prabhu, what a journey you have gone through without any encouragement. Here, when you make samosa also, 4 people need to be encouraged. Oh, such a good samosa. We talk about appreciation. As he was going through this journey, there was absolutely no appreciation because nobody knew what his journey was. It was all madness. And when he was speaking about his story, I said, what you have gone through, I did not contribute anything in your life. When you are learning this, not even 1 penny for your growth. It was all your journey. I said, I as a one of the members of the leadership, we also regret for not supporting your cause. And this message is still there on my WhatsApp. He said, Prabhuji, it's my prarabdha alone. I feel no regret, no feeling of having done any great austerity. And if I had a choice to do, I would still choose to do the same. I am grateful for all the experiences. And I feel so proud and happy to have, so many devotee friends. Krishna is very kind. As his good wife was telling, that he had no malice. He has been chastised, he has been reprimanded, he has been asked to, leave the temple also, because of his extreme madness, which was nothing but geniusness. But he never came back and spoke ill about any devotee. But he continued his journey with great determination. And then another time he sent a message to me. He said, my dream, because that's what the dream of his Siddha Guru. He said, my dream is that I want to have a Gurukul. And it will take 20 years. He said, I am not a mature Ayurvedic doctor. My journey started abruptly at the age of, when I am 30, 35. He said, but if you want to really learn good Ayurveda, you have to learn from the age of 5 or 6. He said, I will see their chart, I will see their disposition. And I asked him, how do you do that? Some people may have the disposition. He said, when there is a disposition, to make that disposition be active, he said, you have to take them around. And rather than you telling them, they will start asking question to you. The disposition and the discovery of the disposition will make them qualified to be student. He said, I want to have 20 students. I want to train them. And therefore, he was exhibiting his geniusness. I remember one time, I'll conclude with this. One time one of his, I think his wife only asked him this question, when will you retire from your medicine? He said, retirement? He said, Ayurveda, my seva itself is a retirement. Till my last breath, till I have the power to function, I will continue to work for Ayurveda. That is my mukti, that is my liberation, that is my retirement. No, I will not retire from this. It is not that I am doing some mundane job to retire and to practice my devotional service. That itself my devotional service. And that fateful day, what was he doing? He was going to treat somebody. He was about to exhibit his geniusness. But somehow there is madness where Krishna says one who performs one's own duty, Shreyan Swadharma Viguna. He was good in that, but unfortunately, he tried to do somebody else's duty of driving a rickshaw. And Krishna says, Paro Dharma Bhayavaha, a lesson for all of us. He had to do so much to this world. As Gauranga Prabhu mentioned, so many devotees mentioned. So therefore, he was going to treat, as he had told to his family members, and as Krishna explained, this is my personal feeling, that he would not go back to the spiritual world unless he creates a very systematic Ayurvedic concept. So therefore, coming back is also as good as going back to the spiritual world. Because in coming back, he will help so many devotees. And when he passed away, when Vasudeva Prabhu called me, we have experienced a lot of tragedy. But this one departure made so much of, disorientation in regards to everything. Because there is so much of vision, so much of desire to do. And suddenly departing, it was like a castle being built and the entire castle disappeared, became non-existence. It's a very nightmare. So therefore I was pacifying myself and I was saying to Gaur Gopal Prabhu, Braj Bihari Prabhu and other Radha Gopinath Prabhu also, we should invest on those children who have the capacity to become Ayurvedic doctors, train them from early childhood, invest on them, rather than only using them, invest on them, and when they are invested so much, and then when they come to this world, then they'll be unmatchable. I remember one of his guru, I don't know whether it is Shashi Kumar or Krishna Kumar, he said when he completed his Ayurvedic training in a Gurukul, he went around wanting to disprove everything what he had learned. He said, I'm going to go everywhere trying to disprove what I've learned. He said, last 30 years he has tried to disprove what he has learned, but he is not able to do it because that is the authenticity of learning Ayurveda from Guru Parampara. And that was his desire, and that is the only thing I feel offering that gratitude making a memorial for Shyama Vallabh Prabhu, creating a system where potential children can learn Ayurveda and contribute to specifically devotee community and also the outside community. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.